Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in Vladimir in Russia for over 20 years now, and today's video is about how to purchase a house safely in Russia. Now, I was actually just talking about this in another video that I was filming, but it started to throw it down. Now, I've just come out of the dentist. My teeth is killing. I've had some work done, but I don't think they've solved the problem. Have you ever had that before, when you've told the dentist what's hurting and they decided it's something else and they do that but it doesn't make any difference? Well, yeah, that's what's happened to me. But I'm not going to talk about that today. Today we're going to talk about purchasing a house safely in Russia. And the reason I want to make this video is because I know that foreigners are coming to Russia at the moment. People are purchasing property and people are, well, getting, I don't want to use the word scammed, but perhaps taken advantage of when it comes to purchasing property and paying over the odds. And the reason that this is happening is because in the past, foreigners would come to Russia to work, to study, maybe they'll get married, and then after time, once they learned Russian, they would apply for residency. And if they were accepted, this might be after 5 years, for me 10 years. After 10 years of living in Russia, I was able to apply for residency. Whereas now, because the rules have changed and it's more easier than it ever was in the history of Russia to come to Russia as a foreigner, well, at least, you know, for the last 30 years, it's never been easier now to come here and actually become a resident. We have people coming over, and obviously if you want to become a resident in Russia, you're going to probably purchase a house. But the people that are coming over, all the families coming over right now and purchasing property, well, they've virtually spent no time in Russia. They don't know any Russian, they don't know how the systems work, and therefore it's easier for people to take advantage of them. And so that's why I'm making this video today, so that hopefully if you're going to come to Russia and you're going to purchase property, you're going to know how to safely do it so that you don't get taken advantage of and you don't pay over the odds. And of course, the video is helping me, because the more I speak, the less that numbness feeling I have, because my mouth's been, you know, what's the word, injected, and it's I want to get it to the stage where I can speak normally again. And also, when I'm distracted, I don't feel my toothache as much. So this area right here, most of these houses were built at the end of the 90s, and you can see it looks very dated, but at the same time, this is like a typical road in provincial Russia anyway, where you've got a mixture of all types of houses. You've got old ones, you've got new ones. When someone finds a new space, they'll build a house there. So it doesn't necessarily mean that in a lot of areas that you go to around the world, you'll have a rich area, a poor area. In Russia, it doesn't really work out like that. If there's a good plot of land, someone will purchase a house in that area and build a house. And you can have amazing houses and bad houses next door to each other. But before we go any further, guys, consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to get information about life in Russia from someone who's been here for a very long time, who's going to give you the, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, and not just simply tell you that everything's amazing or that everything's bad, something you can actually trust. And I've got no reason to lie to you. I just want to give you the information. Then subscribe to my channel, tell others to subscribe too, tell the world, or not, just maybe subscribe if you want to. Look at this, they've made a little temporary kind of like kids play area here. I like this because it obviously belongs to someone, or maybe everyone, and they've just built this little park, this temporary park on the land that's opposite their house. It's interesting that this seems to be the street of people that have vans. What's going on? You can see this house, very dated. It probably was cool at one point. And then right opposite, we've got a spare plot of land, and this is a modern one that's been built. I don't think I would build here. Not really much land going on. But yeah, there you go. So this person here loves their flowers. They've got a Soviet flag hanging up here. And I can see another red flag hanging around the side. This is a really nice garden. You can see that Russians love their high fences. Kind of keeps everything private. You can sunbathe naked if you want. Although over this side, this is something you don't see often, a fence like this. So the very first thing you should do when thinking about purchasing a house is to choose your area. I know that sounds kind of funny, but decide where you want to live and research. Go to the site avito.ru and research properties, research the prices of different properties. Now, the chances are if you're coming to Russia and you're applying to come to Russia, then there's going to be people kind of persuading you to purchase a house perhaps in somewhere that they consider to be a good house or good location, or perhaps built by a specific company or a specific gated community. Don't just simply take their word for it and say, okay, if you've recommended this gated community or you've recommended this road or this company, don't simply take their word for it and say, okay, do your research too. Find other houses in that area. See if the price that you've been kind of quoted or recommended to purchase a house for is a good price. Because the thing is, the people that are probably helping you to come to Russia, or maybe someone's friend that you know that works in real estate and is going to help you, they've got skin in the game. They're going to make money probably from you purchasing something. And so you need to get that second opinion and you need to do your research yourself. Because the worst thing ever is to find out that you purchased a house because this person's told you to, and then you find out that the rest of the houses were half the price. How are you going to feel? Now, I know that you're going to think, well, this person's working and they've got my interests at heart. But at the end of the day, if someone is going to make money out of you, and this is very often the case in Russia, because everybody's entrepreneurial. They think, okay, how can I help this person make a little percent from it? That's how Russian people think. And it might seem that that person is just helping you from the goodness of their heart. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, that is not true. I was about to say there's been no barking dogs yet, but I can hear there's a very tiny dog behind here that's making an awful lot of noise. So you'll study the market, you'll look on sites like avito.ru to find properties that you like and compare the prices. You'll then, when you've decided or someone's convinced you that this is a place to buy at, you'll then get a second opinion, a third opinion, ask other Russians, reach out to people like me, reach out to other YouTubers, ask them their opinion, ask the opinion of people who have been here for a long time that stand to make zero if you purchase the property, because they're going to tell you, right, if this is good or this is bad. Don't rely on your real estate agent or your friend or the company who's bringing you to Russia to tell you if something is a good deal and just take it at their word. Get second and third opinions. Please do that. It's very, very important. As I said, there's people interested in you purchasing certain properties because they're going to make money from it. So just do your homework. The next thing that I would say is very, very important. I wouldn't purchase a house that's being built. The reason is because construction companies are notorious for finding extra things that they can leave out of the contract to then charge you for afterwards. It happens to everyone. It happens to Russians. Everyone, suffers this. The companies are very, very good at it, and even if a lawyer's looking at your paperwork, the chances are they'll find a way to leave some certain things out of the contract so they can charge you for extra for them, or they'll perhaps make it so that the house isn't finished, right? So there's certain things you need to complete the house that you have to pay extra for. It's a sad world that's the world we live in, but construction companies are known for doing this. It happens to Russians, it happens to everyone. And yeah, Okay, you might find that you have to pay an extra couple of $100,000, but you might find that you have to pay an extra couple of million, because also a lot of construction companies, they don't want to tell you the final price in the contract, because perhaps the building price will go up during the process. If it's a huge company and they're building loads of houses, they can fix the price for you. But if it's a small company, they might take a while to build it. They can't, you know, go to their warehouse where they've got loads of materials. They're just ordering for you, and then by the time they finish it, they look at the books and think, oh damn, it costs us more than we're charging. Let's find a way to put the price up. And so yes, you know, building a house is great, right? You get to make it how you want, but at the same time it can be dangerous. And at the same time, if your friends have skin in the game, if your lawyer has skin in the game, if your friends that are recommending this building company to you, you know, they're going to say, yeah, build, yeah, definitely build. But then what are you going to do? You're trusting these people, right? So building is a lot more difficult, and I suggest that it's something that you do after you've been in Russia for a while. When you know your way around, you speak the language, and you can do everything yourself. The chances are you probably still get scammed a little bit, because it happens to everyone. That's just the way it goes. This street is mainly houses, as I said, from the 90s. You can see immediately this red brick is very old. It was the choice material for the kind of 90s and the early 2000s. I like how people are growing their flowers and making everything look very nice. It's not often you can see into people's driveways. Look at all the beautiful flowers here. Very nice. The next step is to check the land type. There's different land types in Russia that houses are built on, and they allow you to do different things. So if you want to keep livestock, you want to have like a small holding, or as it's called in the UK, not a farm, not a commercial farm, but perhaps you want to have chickens or things like that, that you're going to have eggs for yourself, you know, a little small kind of farm, not a commercial one. There's a type of land for that. There's also a type of land for a commercial farm. There's also types of land for individual construction. They're the typical type of land that most people purchase a house on. But then there's other types of land that are part of a community, like a gated community, or perhaps on a dacha settlement, that come with specific rules, and you have to follow the rules. And obviously, if it's a gated community or dacha settlement, then also you'll pay an amount for upkeep, for the rubbish to be cleaned, not by the government, but by the people that serve that community. So they're the things you need to look at and make sure that you're getting the right one for what it is you want to do. You don't want to purchase a plot of land or purchase a house on an existing plot and then find out that you wanted to grow maybe vegetables or farm animals and things like that on it, and you can't because that's forbidden in that community, or that's forbidden on that plot of land. So that's very important. So the next thing you should know is land sizes. In Russia we have sotki. One sotok, is it adna sotka or adin sotok? I don't know, you Russians let me know. So basically one sotok is 10 by 10 meters, so 100 square meters. It's not an acre. So you need to be aware of that as well, because some people will say, oh, look at this, because what happens is Google translates it wrong. And so with sites like Avito, you can click to show the site in English, but it translates sotok to acre. It isn't. So if you see something on there and it says 10 acres, that does not mean that you got 10 acres. What it means is 10 lots of 10 by 10 meters, basically. So the next thing to do, once you've chosen your house that you want to buy, you need to make sure that everything is okay with the house, and therefore you go to a notary, and the notary will process the whole thing for you to make sure everything's okay. Now you can hire a lawyer or you can go to the notary. Either of them are going to be able to check out if there's any money owing on the house, if perhaps the people owning it or in a custody battle. Whatever the case is, you want to make sure that you're not going to purchase a house and then have problems. So make sure you use a lawyer and a notary to control the purchasing process. Now, of course, you might have a lawyer already who's helping you to purchase the property, but again, he's got skin in the game. So he wants you to buy it for that price if he's involved in it. So perhaps you want to get a lawyer that's separate to the whole thing. If that lawyer, you know, is part of the agreement or helping you to purchase, then, you know, do you want to use that lawyer, or do you want to use a separate lawyer who's got no skin in the game, right? Who's going to be honest, because they don't care if you purchase or not. They're just there to help you to make a purchase. So it's up to you. You've got to decide that. But if your lawyer is also part of the equation, who's the person that's brought you to Russia and then helping you to purchase a house that they suggest, it's up to you whether you want to then go and get a separate lawyer or not. You're going to have to decide whether you think that perhaps it's a good idea to do that or not. I've just seen this sticker here, and this was from a famous YouTube channel. Stop Ham it was called, and if you see on the sticker, it says, "I don't care about anyone else, I'm going to park my car where I want." And it was a YouTube channel of these people that would literally go around Moscow and they would stick these stickers on the windscreens of cars that were parked incorrectly, because the parking in Moscow used to be crazy. People would park on pavements, in parks, anywhere they wanted, because it was difficult to find spaces. And so this channel was really cool. You know, these people would get into crazy fights. They would just come along and stick over some really cool car's windscreen. So when it comes to the buying process, a lot of companies out there will have what they call a safe buying process with guarantees. Now, typically, a lot of Russians will want to sell their apartment for cash. And the reason they'll want cash is because perhaps they're selling it for one price, but on the contract it says another. And this is because perhaps they don't want to pay a lot of tax on the property. And so how do you get around this? So that obviously if they're saying to you, yeah, well, I want to, you know, I'm happy to sell it, but I need a different price on the contract. What you need to do is you put the money in escrow. Now, I'm not telling you how to cheat tax. I'm just telling you how it works a lot of the time. And so if you both go to the bank, you'll sign a contract with the seller. You'll place the money into a safe in the bank, and the contract in the bank will say that once the house has been successfully registered in your name, then at that point you both return to the bank, you both get keys, you open the safe, the housing certificate is given to you, and the seller takes the money from the safe. This is a very safe way to purchase a house, because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong with the process, if the contract says within 30 days the house must be registered in your name without any problems, and it hasn't been, then that contract with the bank is cancelled. You get to go back to the bank and take the money that was put in the safe. And so that is the safest way to do it, because at the end of the day, no one can be scammed. Your money is put into the safe, and it's only given to the seller at the point where the house is fully registered in your name. I don't really like this street, to be fair. It's you can hear the road as well, I'm sure you can. It's just right next to the dual carriageway. Look how creative people are. These lights look very scary, and then you've got the garden looking nice. Got a barbecue over here, look. A windmill over there. So these things are designed to make noise to scare the birds off. You can see there's another one over there, look. The most important thing is that you feel comfortable when you're purchasing a house, and you know that you're paying the right price and that everything's safe. And so for that reason, I'd say the most important things are researching to make sure that you're purchasing for the price that is suitable for the area, getting second and third opinions from people who have no skin in the game, that have no goal to make any money from your purchase, that are not connected to it like me or like other people, YouTubers, things like that, people that have lived in Russia for a long time, maybe family members, things like that, that have no connection to your buying decision or to the commission that can be made from that. And then also I would seriously consider getting a separate lawyer or using a notary that is not connected to the people who are selling you the property. At the end of the day, you know, money changes people, and if your lawyer or your notary is working for the company selling the property, or working for the people who, you know, helped with the whole process of you coming here and buying a house, then the chances are that they're going to want the deal to go through so they can get their commission, right? And so therefore I thoroughly recommend you to get second, third opinions, and of course find somebody separate from the deal to help with the process. I'm not trying to make an advert, I'm not going to help you to do that. I'm just saying that I can give an opinion about the price and stuff like that, but I'm not selling anything here. I'm just warning you that that's the best way to go, so that you don't get ripped off. Because as I said, money changes everyone, right? Everyone is on the make, and that is just the world we live in. And I want to make sure that you come here, you purchase what it is you want to purchase without finding out later on that you overpaid, or something was left out of the contract, or somewhere you feel injustice, because there's no reason for that to happen. But obviously that happens everywhere in the world, but the chances are it can happen to you a lot easier when you don't know the place you're buying, you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, and you're trusting people. And how many times have we heard that in life, when you trusted somebody to, you know, do their best for you, and they ended up just taking advantage of you. If you want to join my Telegram chat group, then the link is below the video. Also, if you want to have a free phone call with me, I say free, I'm actually asking people now to donate a little bit of money to the channel if they do take the phone call, because just people don't turn up, people take advantage of me. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, as I said. And so you need a little bit of skin in the game to know that if you don't turn up to the call, you're going to lose the few dollars you donated to the channel. So yeah, if you want to have that call with me, I can give you any advice, that's no problem at all. You'll get way more value than the few dollars you donate to the channel. If you do decide to do that, you can go to samsrussianadventures.com and book a call. And yeah, join my Telegram chat group, subscribe to my channel as well, guys. Subscribe, yeah, really, go on, subscribe and share, tell the world how amazing I am. Not really, just subscribe. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. One final point: should you purchase an apartment or a house or a townhouse, what's the best way to go? It's all going to depend on you. Do you want to be in the city? Do you want to be outside the city a little bit? Obviously you can get houses in the city, they're going to be a lot more expensive, but it's a choice, right? You've got your outdoor lifestyle, or obviously everything's much easier if you have an apartment. In winter in Russia, you're going to clean the snow every day. You know, there's chances perhaps that the electricity might go off and things like that that don't really happen in apartments. And so it's up to you. Do you want an easy lifestyle? Get an apartment. Do you want a, you know, more difficult lifestyle, but do you want to have barbecues and do sunbathing and have your friends over and have a garden party, maybe a pool? Get the house.